Got it. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back. And we are looking forward to having this session with you since a long time. We didn't have a session. And hopefully in this session, we'll have a tremendous change and life is changing dramatically. My first question is for all of you is, how do you imagine your life without any accounting system in your company, in your organization, on your bank? Is it possible? But why? We can do it manual, can't we? Not anymore. Not that easy. What happened during these 30 years of change? First accounting package was introduced almost more than 30 years ago. What happened? Why people are not able to get rid of it now anymore? Where life will be much faster than we are. It will be 24 hours and changing. Easier for everybody. So that's what happened. A few months ago, back in February, Chat GPT had announced, or OpenAI had announced its first artificial intelligence system in the world. And shortly, all the companies becoming, maybe you saw in the beginning here, that people start saying that ChatGPT will kill Google. Google will be out of business, like what happened with iPhone and Nokia. But to our surprise, that Google were able to fight back, and they come out with their own system that will be mentioned later on. So to begin with, let's have some wording together. What is artificial intelligence? What do you mean by artificial intelligence? Any suggestions? Let me all artificial intelligence. What do you mean by that? Somebody, you have something to say? Yes. We want your understanding. What comes to your thought?
We can put all our information and all what we think on the machine. Like the machine mimic as the human.
The human. Dr. Khalid, ايش رايك? What do you think, Khalid?
And based on this kind of information from the server, from the user, from the application,
but we used to have it. What's new in that? We used to have that. We have database, data warehouses. What's new?
So that's why the algorithm is based on machine learning. Something it can face or it can do similarly to human being.
Yes.
The speed of the internet, the speed of the CPU, the speed of the hardness, it let us use the artificial intelligence in a way similar to today.
Thank you. So I can base what Dr. Khalid mentioned now, that the old systems are there, but now the systems, they are capable of using the algorithms to make sense of this data. Exactly. It's reading, it's making sense of what we are having, data we have. As you mentioned, we have huge data. Yes, with the use of the new technology, they are using all these techniques. So we are talking here about machine learning. And the beauty of it is, or the strength of it, is that they are building more things. So whatever the machine is learning today, whatever it reaches, it can learn more and more as it's going. So it will be duplicating and duplicating and so on for huge amount of data. So as you mentioned, Dr. Khalid, the data is there, but it's building the wisdom of it based on machine learning. And as you can see here, the picture of Dr. McCarthy is the founder of AI. And he is excited about this robot. To your surprise, if I surprise you, that this photo was never taken. There's no such photo. It was created by Midjourney, by artificial intelligence, to show me Dr. John McCarthy smiling, excited about it with the robots. So it created this picture. So that's what it can do. It can make strange things. It can create new things as we are going and building on top of it. Building on top of it. And that's the reason that artificial intelligence is creating. And that's the reason it's called generative AI. What do you mean by generative? To regenerate itself. Generative is to regenerate itself. So it's building more and more. As you, Mr. Had, mashallah, he's a manager in one of the leading Kuwaiti banks. As you know, we have data warehouse, we have all these things. They have a lot of systems there to read the data. And they have artificial intelligence right now in them. But the adding that we are regenerating the data. We are building on top of it. So we are using the data continuously to improve it and make it better. And that is changing. And there are so many applications that can do so. It can be in art, in design, in creating ideas, and so on. So ChatGPT is reshaping the business strategy now. It's creating a new thing. It can be used to enable personalized customer experience. So surely I use IVR, we use the call center website I want to inquire about my balance. It will read the balance for you. There's nobody to lead it. It's not programmed to do so. The beauty of it and the strength, it uses a common language that we speak. And we'll show examples at the end. That even as if you are talking to somebody, and it will create this data and build this data. And that's reason it will have a better customer experience, it will automate tasks. So repetitive tasks, as we know, with accountants, for example. Many accountants, what they do usually, accountants, they have a task called account reconciliation, where he conciliates his data, his system, with the bank system. So he takes a statement from there, check it one by one, manually, by his eyes, doing it. Now with the systems, it's already in place, that the system will do that. And it's 24 hours, it's continuous. We consolidate data and make it easier for everybody. So it's reconciliate data, making tasks, providing scalability, generating data-driven insight. It's more insight with it. I will have examples, a real-life example about that. Post-innovation and continuous learning. Because here we have to learn. Whatever we are depending on, it will be changing later on, shortly. And that's the reason ChatGPT is becoming one of the most. I'm not here to talk about ChatGPT, but just an example. We have part of Google, we have Midjourney, we have thousands now. And to your surprise, that some of them are building on each other. So some systems are using ChatGPT, some BART, and so on. So it's creating more things. The major strategies that ChatGPT can change in our organizations and other organizations is, first of all, enhance customer experience. Now the customer experience, for example, if you have a shipment, DHL shipment, what do you do usually? You give it the track number, so where to reach. Now with the art, of course, they are not doing it yet, but later on, you can tell, it can think for you and tell you when it reach you exactly. How it will do, because it will study the environment, study how fast it was for previous shipment from UK to reach your home and to reach your area. So it will read that data, that huge data, and create on it, and so on. So it enhances customer experience. Automate repetitive task. There's a system called robotic process automation. It will do it automatically, relative, and so on. Also, scalability, since it works 24 hours, 7 days a week. So you can always, and you can add more and more to it. Okay. Also, it has data-driven insight, and here was the most important thing to us, that it's not talking junk things. It will build on information. It will build on whatever is happening in the world, whatever is happening right now. So, for example, if I want to know the interest rate, so it will tell you that the interest rate has been changed in the past six months, and it will have the effect of Kuwaiti dinar, so and so, on the gold, it will have the effect, so and so. So here it's really data driven. It's not only thoughts, it's not only ideas, it's not advocating things to you. There's more things to it. Also, competitive advantage and innovation, as you know. And since later we'll talk about strategy. Any organization, they have to depend on their strategy. And the strategy, a main stone of it is competitive advantage. Competitive advantage. What I'm excelling in that others didn't have the same thing. So the competitive advantage, it will how to enhance it. Though, so these systems will enhance our competitive advantage, how to be better. And as you know, the customer experience is one of the most important things. Also, the continuous learning and improvement, how we can change things. For example, as we mentioned, the strategy. In strategy, usually one part of it is to analyze the environment. So what's happening? I'm waiting. What's happening around me in the world, from economical, political, environment, legal system, and so on. In system here, it can predict even what's going on in the future. So it's expecting the Federal Reserve of America will increase the percentage, the interest rate by 0.25 quarter point. So it will have effect on the food supply, and the food supply will affect your business and so on. This changes, it's able to understand. Right now I'm talking high level. Later on we'll be coming down to have more information. Now, how we can use that, we can explain it about, and these are the 8 points that we mentioned. Now, from customer experience, the first thing, it will enhance and provide recommendation. Maybe you use Amazon, and it will tell you that people like you bought this. Somebody bought this book. He bought this book and this book. So it will have a recommendation for you, and this will increase sales, of course. Okay? And your search, even if you buy a book, it will tell you what others did. Also, it will have interactive support. It will can support you. So, for example, Netflix, they use this recommendation system. They can show that you love to watch war movies. He wants to watch romantic movies. Yes, sir. That's the company. The company created the chat because it's chatting. We'll see. We'll show you how it happens. It's chatting with the people. So you can chat with it. You can send this. It will come back to you. And so you are chatting with it. Okay. So it's continuous chatting. We'll see. We'll show you in a minute how to do so, or in a few minutes, of course. So Netflix can make the recommendation for you that this movie, without telling you. I'll give another example. Yes, not just about artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence. It can tell your behavior. How many times we were talking to each other about baby's food, and finally you find that later on Google showing you all baby things, food. Exactly, because it can understand this sound, translate the text, and work on it. MashaAllah, after later we'll talk to Dr. Khalid. MashaAllah, he has a good experience with the sound, how to make sound to text and how to utilize it. MashaAllah, he has a very good experience, and he's using it personally and personal level also. So here, also, streamline operation. The name of the game for any operation, banking operation, government operation, any type of operation, is how to streamline, how to make it faster, and how to depend less on people. So isn't that bad thing to use less people and use system? So it means that we'll fire people, correct? We have to fire them. What do you think? Is it good thing to fire people? Reutilize them. دكتور ايش رايك؟ To fire the people because we have good systems, smart systems? Yes and no. I consultant answer. Yes and no. Yes. But here I'm talking about operation. Operation, what will happen? I'm streamlining. So I'm the middleman, I'm cutting the clerk, the موظفين عاديين, I'm cutting the middleman. So they will fire them. Exactly. They will be out. Yes. 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 Okay. Let's listen to our colleague. اسمه كريم. حمزة. يا حمزة ايه رايك؟ What do you think, حمزة? Of what Dr. Khalid mentioned about what Hassan mentioned? Dr. Khalid.
Because every other questions as well. However, you will going to be learning and even never be learning. The system is going to push you direct to the next destination where you have or out.
Yeah, good. So to make it better even, artificial intelligence, like accounting, it used people to a better use. So we didn't fire the accountants in the accounting system. We didn't fire them, but we are using their time much better. We are utilizing them in better services. Same thing with artificial intelligence. Exactly as I mentioned, Dr. Khalid, that we'll utilize them. Hamza mentioned the same thing. We'll reuse them again. We'll put them into a better use. We'll have a better use so they can excel in other things. Of course, people who refuse to that, they will be out, of course, but many people will, and that's a good example is the automotive industry. In the automotive industry, we used to have the assembly line of making Ford, Toyota. Now, almost 60% of these assembly lines in all the companies are robots. What is the mechanism? No, we created new jobs. We had created new jobs. People who can program the car, who are working with the IC of the car and so on. So we are creating new jobs. Artificial intelligence, it will create new jobs for smarter people to utilize it. So instead of calculating numbers, 35 multiplied by 78, how much is it? I'm using your time to use the calculator and make better of it and speed done. So it will streamline the operation. And a good example of that is Chat GPT to automate tasks in booking flights, booking the flights, making reservation, finding the best hotel. So now many examples about booking.com, for example. They can suggest for you booking based on your past experience. Of course, they are doing it not smart as is, but now I'm sure they are building things, they are making changes, and so on. That's a good way. Also, we have continuous conversations that ChatGPT will make it better for people, and it will utilize it to have more interaction. It will give you more interaction. You can interact with the bank. It will tell them about how they are facing with your airline, and they can come up with ideas for you, what to do with the airline, how to resolve your ticket issue, what to resolve the flight if you are running late, and so on. So these are so many things. Also, the beautiful, and this is one area I think maybe we need to emphasize more on that, which is data-driven decision making. Decision making systems were available for 30 years now or 25 years. Decision support systems. But they were depending on who? Depending on experts depending on experts like you, your good selves, to give them the logic, the business logic, to give them a business logic. With ChatGPT, you don't have to depend on the business logic of the people. You can depend on the business logic that they created by the machine here. And based on your past experience, it will create. So it will create more customer insight. What Hussam loves and what he hates. What Hamza likes and he dislikes. What his mean of things. What's his sentiment. Also sentiment analysis also. And sentiment analysis is very important. Sentiment means in Arabic مشاعر. It can go deep to that. It can tell you that you are angry on my service and how I can resolve your angriness and so on. And this is part of it. So many organizations, and one of the good examples, not mentioned here, but Salesforce. Salesforce is a huge company. They are automating the sales operation. They are using artificial intelligence to have their customers' feelings, sentiments, ideas, wording, past sale, past pipeline, so on, to make better deals for the sales people and so on. That's one. I think if anybody is interested, he has to diverse and look into this area because this is where the future is coming. Where the future. The other areas that are already being, there's a lot of work on them. But this area is a new area. Still, there is a lot of room for improvement, a lot of room for change, and so on. So, the competitive advantage. The competitive advantage, as you know, competitive advantage is depending on two factors: either superior customer experience, to build on top of superior customer experience, or innovation and differentiation. They are being different for us. So competitive advantage, what's the competitive advantage? So this is their innovation, their differentiation, and so on. So these organizations have to find one of these two more. You know, from Apple or Samsung, they're coming up with innovation, continuous innovation. They are able to sell us more mobiles because of the continuous. What differentiates Samsung from XYZ company? From Honor, there's a company called Honor. What's differentiated? The continuous innovation. For example, Amazon, to enhance their service, he created their Amazon voice assistant, Alexa, and it's powered by ChatGPT. So you can have a carry conversation with Alexa. Alexa, can you do so for me? Alexa, can make 10 on the lights, 10 off the lights. Tell me about the good joke. I'm in a bad mood. It can do that. Yes. So it's creating innovation. So people are depending. Now, most of mobiles are creating this assistant to you to utilize it while you are on the go. Now, that's the ChatGPT. Let's talk about strategy and KPIs, where it's important, and then we'll link them together. As you know, in strategy, but before I come to the strategy, before I talk about strategy, let's talk about vision. We always have the word vision. What do you mean by vision? Where will be in 10 years, 20 years? Kuwait vision of 2035. Saudi Arabia vision in 2040. Bahrain vision in 2030. صح? But the word vision, what does it mean? What do you mean?
You view something far away, it is far away.
So it's not a dream. It's a dream. It's a dream. كان dream صح؟ دكتورنا وينك؟ Dream? Yeah, well, I can see myself in the future, so it's a dream. So I, اسمه كريم أحمد. A target. Target is later stage. Target is later stage, but always we're saying about vision. So it's a dream. Maybe nightmare. Why not? A dream can be a nightmare. That's the second. Vision is first thing. No, vision is the first thing. Vision is the first thing. Vision is not a dream. I'm sorry to disappoint you. It's not a dream. Vision, from the word vision, where I visualize myself to be. In Arabic, we say usually, وين شايف نفسي. وين شايف نفسي بعد 5 سنوات بعد 10 سنوات. Where I'm visualizing myself after 10 years. So it's becoming very clear that is vision. It's very clear to me that I want to be in that area. So that's a vision. Strategy is depending on this vision. Strategy is the roadmap of organizations. Strategy is a roadmap. How we want to accommodate or how to meet this vision by creating a strategy. And then we'll create, Ahmed, as we said, then we'll create goals later. But first of all, I have to, what vision I have? So for example, if I am a bank, I vision myself to be the leading internet provider in Kuwait. Why not a bank? It's not related. It's not related. It's not out of the area. I want to be a bank. So based on my vision, I have to set up my roadmap. And this roadmap, I will have the goals, how to stay competitive. How to stay competitive based on the, we mentioned here, customer insight, customer innovation, differentiation, and so on. That's what we want to see. So here, strategy refers to a high level plan and approach. What we do, how to do it, and so on. And that is strategy is very important because it will help us. Setting up the roadmap. Secondly, how to utilize my resources. How to utilize my resources. So if I want to be a leading bank in Kuwait, what are my resources? I don't have money. Or I don't have the right people. So I need to know what are the choices, the resources I needed in order to create this competitive advantage, and so on. And based on that, it will guide my actions, where sometimes we call it operational plans or operational goals. So first we start with vision, strategy, the roadmap, then how we can do it, where we have to go, our action plan, and so on. And that's the strategy. So the element of strategy that just here I'm talking very fast because, or not very fast, I'm talking about summarizing things just to touch bases. Goal settings. Here we get the goals that we want to increase our profitability by 10%. We want to minimize our cost by 5%, and so on. Competitive. What are the competitive advantages we are looking? Are we a quality maker, or are we a low cost, or are we differentiating, and so on? Then implementation execution. They have to implement this strategy. A strategy without execution. Further. Yeah, right. Yes.
The dream is one mistake.
Yes.
The vision might occur in touch of the sense of see your capability.
Mumtaz.
Perfect. And write your goals.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, make it in a different word, but it's beautiful. Yes, because vision here, while you are awake, you are utilizing your senses to make sense of it. And the senses you are talking about later on, they explain about the analysis. Here the senses works because in the analysis, I have to analyze the environment around me and environment inside. So without your senses, it will not work. Excellent, excellent, Khalid. Thank you very much. Implementation, execution, later on adaptation and alignment. How to align people. As you know, what happened many times that the organization head, he has a strategy, a very beautiful strategy that will make fortune. But people on the ground, they know nothing about it. So everybody's fighting. I'm fighting Dr. Rabia, I'm fighting Hiba, and so on, because we are not knowing what to do. So the alignment here is how it cascades down, how it comes from the top management, middle management, lower management, the people on the ground, and so on. So without this alignment, it will be a dream. because we are not sensing the people. People are not working toward a common goal. They are working different directions. They are working different directions and so on. So these are the key elements of strategy. Now, in order to have a strategy, we have something called goal settings. And the goal settings, I need to set my goals, and later on implement these goals, set the goals, implement. How we measure difference? How we can measure we are doing the right thing? We can make it control. What's the control is later stage, but before the control, we set something called KPIs, key performance indicator. How can I tell that Ahmed is doing a good job in sales? You are my sales manager. How can I tell you are doing a good sales? Through KPI, key performance indicator, that you are supposed to make sales of this many million dinars in the third quarter. So, as we mentioned, I'm setting the goal, implementing, and in the execution, I'm making sure that these KPIs are met. So the keyword, the most important thing of a KPI is quantifiable. Quantifiable. What do you mean by quantifiable? As you can see, it's different color, bold, different color. Why? What's quantifiable? KPI has to be a quantifiable. You'll be there. So now what do you think? What's quantifiable mean to you? Not quantifiable.
Make sure that our goal is
Okay, measurable. Something you can measure. If it's not in numbers, then you are a loser. Am I tall or short? I'll be thinking. Thank you. I'm tall. But for Khad, I'm short. ما شاء الله قلت لي بالأول عشان تفعل ده. ما شاء الله قلت بالله. I'm short for women. And for her is that I'm tall. What are the bases for that? Exactly. So it's subjective. It's not something you can measure. Wadah is doing a good job. What do you mean by good job? I sold only 100,000 dinar. Wow, congratulations, 100,000, mashallah, wonderful job. While Hassan, mashallah, made a sale of 1 million. That's even perfect. 100,000 to 1 million. Correct? So that isn't KPIs, and here, probably as we mentioned before we start the day, before we start the session, when we are talking that many organizations don't have the KPIs. So all the KPIs are not quantifiable, they are quantifiable. Subjective, something good. He's doing a good job. What do you mean by good job? What do you mean he's tall? What do you mean he's short? What do you mean he's best? These are not measurable. So KPIs need to get a quantifiable way of tracking and evaluating activities. It has to track and evaluate. Otherwise, and as the Americans say, if you cannot measure, you can't manage. You have to measure to manage. And the KPI has to do that. It has to have this, as you know, whatever we mentioned about the SMART goals, it applies here. SMART KPI. It has to be specific, measurable, reasonable, adaptable, and so on. So in order to have this, KPIs will help the organization in, first of all, goal clarification and focus. The organization will focus, have something to focus on. Am I supposed to make more sales or more customer service? Which one is more important to me? It depends on the company, of course. Let's say I am air conditioning company. The manager, CEO. Yes. Usually in the organization, let me tell you about from my experience, alhamdulillah. The board, member of board, usually they give a direction. They give a direction. Of course, this is the ideal case. Ideal case, not in Kuwait. Ideal case, not in Kuwait, but in the States, it is. In the States or the European, it is. The board will give the executive level, CEO and C-level, a direction, what they want to have. And the executive level will transfer this direction into an executable plan and strategy and so on, and KPIs. Based on the strategy, KPIs goals, they will measure, are we meeting the directions of the board or we are not? Of course, unfortunately, in our area, that the board is doing everything. They are setting the direction, they are getting the goal, such everything they are doing, which is their job. And that's even the corporate governance of Kuwait, they say it shouldn't be done, but people are doing it. The board is doing everything. So here it will give clarity of the goal, focus, where should we go, measurement of progress, how good we are doing. So I'm supposed to increase my profit 10% by end of year. We are reaching now June. Am I reaching this 10% of last year or only 3%? Then I have shortage of 7. Because if in 6 months I was not able to meet this 10%, then I will not meet it later on. So it will help me in measurement, okay? Also the strategic alignment, where different departments can work together. One bank, I know, the HR, with all respect to everybody, the HR, they had a direction from somebody to fire people. So they start hiring, getting rid of their people. Easy, right? To cut cost. One of the goals was cut cost, fire people is easier. So they fired cost. There was another goal in the same bank to have a branch, have branches in Emirates. This is a real case that happened 10 years ago or 20 years ago. To have open another bank in Emirates. So after they get the licensing, they get everything, they didn't have people. Yes, because they lost them. The HR had fired them. And if you want to hire more people, you have to train them again now. So that is when the organization is not aligned, not strategically aligned, that every unit of the organization working alone. Separately, they're working alone. So everybody is interested to do my job. Okay, it's great. My job as HR is to retain people, to retain them, train them, get best talent and so on. But what about the treasury department that will do something else? What about the sales department that will do something else and so on? So there's no alignment. So here, that's the reason we need to have the alignment, such alignment. Now, after we are doing the job, we have to measure our performance, how good we are doing. Because this 10% increase in profitability is not done by one guy or one department. Everybody has. So for example, Dr. Rabi, mashallah, he's the head of the sales. And he wants to do sales, increase his sales by 10%, increase his profitability by 10%. But the stores, the logistics are not helping out. How can he do his job? They're losing customers. So we need to measure this evaluation. Accountability and transparency. What's accountability? That's something we are missing. Mas'uliyah. What do you mean by accountability? That if you are doing something good, we'll think, thank you. And if you do something bad, good day, have a nice day. Accountability is in many organizations, it depends on the people's name, not people's action. I love Hussam, so mashallah, whatever he's my friend. I hate and whatever she does, I don't like it. Only as an example. So accountability and transparency, I have to be transparent. Unfortunately, as we mentioned, that most of the organizations are not transparent with their employees. Yes. No, because it's measuring the numbers. It's making the numbers count. It's making the numbers count. Yes. Yes. Also, data-driven decision making. Make decisions based on data, not on guesses, not on gut feeling, how I feel about it. A very good example, Sarahatan, I found that was in Talabat. And I was talking to one of the Talabat, and he was telling me that in their system, they can tell you for your line of business if this area is good or bad for you. For example, if you want to open a burger restaurant, so they will tell you that don't open it in Al Hassaniya. because based on the data they have, is overcrowded and saturated. But you'll not make any profit, you'll not make any business there. Operate is just an example. Operate in Shab area, because there's one store there, there's a huge area. So imagine Talabat can do that. What about if you have a good system, AI system in your organization that can help you? If I want to open, right now, for example, if a bank wants to open a branch, usually they guess. They guess. They have to do a feasibility study for the Central Bank of Kuwait. But usually they'll say that, okay, this area has a lot of Kuwaitis. Most of them are working in government, so it's a good place to open a bank. But these Kuwaitis, these people are already they are having accounts somewhere else, so they will not come to me. So later on you'll find that the bank closes the branch and so on. There are so many examples with the AI, with the indicators KPI, how do you make a data-driven decision making? Real case. Why should I do that, or why I shouldn't do that, and so on. And of course, the AI will help in the continuous improvement. Now, what are the, of course, as we mentioned about the SMART goals, similar thing about the key performance indicators, KPIs, the characteristics, clarity, measurability, actionability, timeless, and continuous. Same thing about SMART goals. Now, let's see some examples of KPI. Some examples, for example, sales revenue, customer satisfaction score, employee production, website traffic, customer acquisition cost, return on investment, inventory turnover. These are KPIs, quick KPIs. But of course, there are millions of KPIs, and depending on the organization nature. So if you are in a bank, it's different than a communication company, it's different than a training center. Every organization has its own nature and depending on that. So it's different, and selection is depending on your objective and your strategy. So if you are tested, for example, in the customer satisfaction, so the score is important to you, and so on. Now, let's have these real life examples. Sales revenue, as we mentioned, many organizations depending on the product of the region. And most of the time, as I mentioned, usually with AI, it will be different, because in this case, what will do with numbers? Exactly. But let's say sales is easy a little bit. But what about customer satisfaction score? Customer is difficult. It's difficult because how to measure customer? Of course, there are surveys, but these surveys, depending, if for example, we can say that, mashallah, all of you are saying that Dr. Rabi is doing a wonderful job. Okay? But if I introduce AI in this KPI, I'll find that, mashallah, he is taking them every day to dinner. So surely they will say good thing about them. Okay? So the AI is different. AI, there is no people involved. No people involved. It's only systems. It's reading, sending messages, reading the messages, reading the behavior. So for example, Wadah is saying that I am a good customer rep. He may say that, yes, he is a good rep, but her behavior, that she always returns back whatever she buys from him, it tells me that he's not doing a good job, because she's returning back the goods all the time. So it means that something I'm doing wrong. Based on this behavior, we can tell if Wadah is doing a good job or bad. Customer satisfaction, employee turnover rate, and this is a very important HR thing, which means that how many times people are getting out of this organization. In some organization, it's a huge number sometimes. And sometimes some organizations that have small number. For example, oil and gas companies in Kuwait. The turnover is almost zero. Is it good or bad? ما شاء الله علمتي النصيحة. مساء الخير. Good or yes or no? Good or bad? Yes. How is good and how is bad? Thank you. Yes. Because of the salary, they are staying because of salary, not because they are satisfied. Yes. Till they retire. So, but the KPI here, we are talking the turnover rate. That if I am hired, wallah, for this job, is he resigning later or not? How many people's percentage are resigning? So, for example, if I tell you that this turnover rate is 5% in Kuwait oil company, KOC, is it good or bad? 5%. Is it good or bad? 5%. Try 5% turnover. Good, bad. You cannot judge. Why you cannot judge? What is the comparison? Comparing to what? How can we find? That why? Number of leavers, number of people who are quitting their job. We're saying that we have 5% turnover. Is 5%, is it good? Is it a good ratio? Good KPI, 5%? Or something is wrong with the organization, 5%? You cannot judge because you don't have a benchmark. You had some measure to something. Yes. But maybe that. Some I agree with you. Let's assume that all of us answered the questions. We have 99%. We are answering the question. Does that mean that we studied hard, or does that mean the questions are easy? How can you guess? Here, where the artificial intelligence comes into service. Here, you can compare this KPI to other organizations. As you said, KOC is only one company in Kuwait, but we can compare KOC to a similar company in Saudi Arabia, to Emirates. But in Emirates, they have ADNOC. There's one company, but the same thing, the same concept. They have one company there, so they have one company. So you can compare. It's not me, of course, not you. It's here where artificial intelligence can help. Because it can tell from their website, from so much information, that if the numbers are correct or wrong, or good or bad. We'll see an example in a few minutes, inshallah. قرب من اللابتوب ان شاء الله. تفضل يا ريت. بس صوتك ابو كريم.
The number of people living for the last 20, 30 years.
Yes.
And also we have to compare themselves with another entity, like local or international.
True.
So for example, like in the banking system, the banking industry, the turnover is 8%. However, in the local area in Kuwait, for example, is a 4.5%. So now you are having your local and international. And you have your historical data. Your historical data says that your turnover is 2%, and all of a sudden it becomes 7-8%. That means you have something. So you have to look at your internal process, procedures, people, and you have to know what is the cause of those people leaving. Is it the salary? Is it manager? Is it a tough KPI? Is it a tough objective? You have to look at
toxic environment.
Toxic environment.
Yes.
So what I'm saying is that benchmark is yes, there is a benchmark to compare yourself locally, international, and you have to look at your.
But I fully agree with you. I fully agree with you. But how come it's not being done now? How come? I fully agree with you. Everything you mentioned is 100% correct. 100%. But how come we are not getting to that result? Because it's depending on the person who's doing this analysis. So if I have a little experience, a weak analysis capabilities, I will not be able to make what you said. Here where artificial come to help. With artificial, I'm using the expertise and the experience of machine learning and the continuous learning and taking advantage of everything you mentioned. Taking advantage of it, 100%. So many times, I'm sure, okay, you saw that It's not about the data. It's not about the information. It's the person who is doing the analysis, who's doing the critical thinking. And that's one of the areas that we are lacking.
We don't know from where
We don't know where are coming from. Yes, many areas. So whatever you say is 100% correct, but it depends on the person who's doing it. So that's reason these KPIs, they've been continuously there, but not many people took advantage of them to the best. Because the person who's making a decision, he is a weak guy who's being there by what? Okay. Also, we have customer acquisition cost, how much it costs to get one customer, and so on. These are examples. Also, we have website conversion rate, return turnover, net promoter score, how many people a customer can he ask, I recommend that to go to this restaurant. This promoter, there's a guide for there's a call. And the artificial intelligence, it will help that. Production efficiency, how efficient I am. I'm sorry to say that, but what's happening in many organizations, they have a weak production efficiency, and nobody's sensing that. They are thinking that we are doing the best, we are the best. In real life, they are not. In real life. And here where, for example, I mentioned more specific to HR, employee retention rate, time to fill, training development ROI, employee engagement scores, and also diversity inclusion metrics, HR cost, facilities. All these are HR KPIs. So here, for example, the retention rate, how am I good to keep the good people in my organization? Or am I losing good people easily? Also, HR time to fill. From the time you fill the CV, the time of hiring, how long it takes. In some organizations, it will take 6 months or 9 months to fill a position. From the day they meet you, and thank you, Dr. Mohammed, you are with us. You are in. You are in. We'll call you later. You are in, خلاص. After 9 months, they just come and join the force. I'll find another job, خلاص. Yes. So this is time to fill. Training development ROI, and this is one of the areas that I'm sure that always they're asking about this. What's the ROI in that? How to measure it? As we mentioned, it has to be quantifiable, not quantifiable. It has to have numbers. And here we are losing these numbers. Also, employee engagement scores, how people are interested to join and continue with us, and so on. The other one is diversity and inclusion matrix. And I think the companies are doing a bad thing here, that the female in the organization, the expats in the organization. I'm not talking about firing them. I'm talking about hiring them. Okay, so this is a good score. This is international score. Also, HR cost per employee. How much every employee cost me? Since the day he joins me, until the day he gets out. How much it cost me? Absenteeism rate. And this is a good indication of people if they are living in a toxic environment. This toxic environment, toxic environment, that people are resigning, or they are not resigning because they like the money, it's good salary, so they take leaves. Foreign reasons, they will continue to take their accent for different reasons and so on. So these are HR KPIs. Now let's have, yes. Not many organizations. ارفع ايدك فوق. Everybody talks about it. Yeah. Everybody talks about it, but nobody's doing it. I always mention that every CEO I met, every head of the board I met, if you tell them that what's the most important capital we have, you go to our employees. People are the most important thing, but usually they are the first 5 people. So same thing now as I mentioned. All organizations have KPIs, but nobody is listening to these KPIs. Nobody, they are applying just to have the end of year performance measurement. Yeah. Only for this reason. Because I like Muhammad Rabi'a, I was saying he's doing a good job, so I raise him. Your KPIs is great. Your KPIs is bad. You deserve D or average, and so on. It's not the reason. No. Of course. Let me ask you the question differently. Okay? Now, Dr. Rabia, mashallah, he is the head of the Treasury Department. Can you write his KPIs? Why not? It's easy job. Easy job. Google it. Google it. Can't you Google it? Thank you. Thank you. That's what he was saying. He has to tell you what is the most important thing in his job. No, it's not about how to discuss it. He is the best guy to know the important indicators in his job. It's not you as HR. What are the KPIs of a production plan? Masla. What is the best KPIs there? Number of units it creates, or number of machine not breaking down? What are the KPIs? The guy in the ground has to, yes, he will help you. But since the CEO or the board the member had told you that means that he's not interested. He just wants to have KPI, regardless. Introduce the concept to them. You have to tell them what KPI is, what needs to be done. So, for example, KPI, I don't know it. Never heard of KPI. You know, let's say that, mashallah, most of you are business-oriented people. For me, I'm an engineer. Maybe some people share with me the same thing. So, for us engineers, KPIs is not part of our vocabulary. It's not part of our knowledge. We don't know it. We know machines. We know electrical. We know electronic. I need somebody to teach me. And this guy to teach me is the HR manager. To teach me that KPI will help you to have specific, measurable, actionable, and so on. It will help you that. So you teach me how to do it. Then it's my job to do it on my factory or to do it in my area, in my maintenance company, my maintenance department, and so on. But since I'm coming from a technical background, I don't know it. You, as a business guy, you can tell me and lead me how to do it. And that's maybe the advantage of doing it. Now, we talk about beautiful things about KPIs. What is the negative impact of not having KPIs? تفضل حازم.
But I don't think the song is already the right way, because maybe the department you already make a shortcut or which one is
easy. So make easy KPIs.
Yeah, exactly. So what I guess if we put it right from job description and supervision of each one, so it's really the right way. But because we suppose we already do it job analysis.
Okay.
So we already know exactly what it would be helping me. We cannot be taken only the main task.
Thank you. In the chat GPT, you can give it. That's the strength of it. You can give the job description, the job analysis, and based on that, it can predict for you the good KPIs. and what are the good KPIs used with other organizations with a similar background like yours. See how many things you had joined together, and it's easy thing. The beauty of this is easy. It's not difficult. No, the ChatGPT can do it for you very easy. You can't even comprehend that. You can't comprehend that. You can't see how easy and how simple it is for this to be done. So now let's talk about what about not having the right KPIs or wrong KPIs, or what are negative consequences of having that? If you don't have a good KPI, what's the negative consequences? Try to now. Good luck. It was done. No direction. Thank you. No. Exactly. No alignment. Yes, we can reach the goals. Or sometimes we have what we call misaligned efforts. Imagine, you know, the game of pulling the rope, that we have a rope between us and the top, and everybody is pulling to his side. Instead of working together, we are working against each other. So if you have the wrong KPIs, the efforts will be lost because we are having more friction. We are fighting each other and so on. Also, disordered priorities. Your priority is different than hers, and his priority is different. So each one has a different priority, and difference in his priority is important because we have no direction, no right KPIs. Also, inaccurate performance assessment. I'm measuring the wrong thing. Also, demotivate employees. Our people are dissatisfied. They don't like it. I'm pushing them hard, forcing them to work harder, and you're not making any sales. How come? Because you are not given the tools to do so to begin with. And also we have something called the tunnel vision. What is the tunnel vision? Do you know tunnel? Tunnel. Never. Tunnel is usually in mountains. Yes. No. Usually, if you look into a tunnel, you see whatever is in front of you only. You don't see the sky, the beautiful areas. You don't see anything. So if you have the wrong KPIs, it will limit your vision as a company from seeing what's happening at the end in one direction, because you are only, as you know, the horses usually the race. What they do usually with them? They put the blinders. They have blinders, so the horse will stay just straight. You will not look any direction, because if you look in direction, you might find something good here, and you will move left. Exactly. So you not take advantage of the whatever is in me. That's the reason tunnel vision is the wrong KPIs. Also, inefficient resource allocation. I'm allocating the wrong resources. And for example, I don't want to talk about risk or economics, but in some area in Kuwait, one organization, they put hundreds of millions in dinar in a project was obsolete as a finish. Because the allocation of that huge money, it was not the right, there was not a strategy. It was nice something to have, but it's not the right thing to do. Okay? And that's the reason we have, the wrong KPIs, it will have important effect on our organization. And that's the reason we have to evaluate it continuously and consult the stakeholders of the organization. Different stakeholders, not stakeholders, be careful. Yes. We are almost at the end of it, inshallah. We need another 30-50 minutes. But here is the fun part. That's what we want now. Now, how we can get all these things together? We are talking about ChatGPT, strategy, KPI. Let's group it together. Here, I'm having better advantage by utilizing KPIs in the decision making. And how we can do that is by using the ChatGPT. I'm going to jump that. The ChatGPT, it can be utilized, of course, ChatGPT, BART, all these names, all these brand names, but they're all same. We are talking about data analysis insight will help me in checking my KPIs from data analysis insight, from the inside in. Also, it will help me in scenario planning. What about if I increase my I change the attendance timing. If I make it till 1 o'clock, no, you give it scenarios and it will help you make these scenarios. Which one is better advantage for you? Also, it will help you decision support, give you the right decision. Okay, performance monitoring and reporting, because it's reading data, reading data. It will tell you what Ahmed is doing right and what Hassan is not doing right. Each one. So it will enhance. Also, predictive analytics. Here, if I use the strategy and KPIs, it will tell you that there is a depression coming in the way. So you have to make sure that you don't hire more people. You have to make sure that you invest in that area because there is a booming in that area. So here, in the predictive analytics, it will help you in that area, the ChatGPT. Some good experience, and these are real examples. Google, for example, they have Duplex. This advanced conversation AI system powered by ChatGPT. It enables to automate and enhance customer interaction. It interacts with the customers. That's Google. Nordstrom, it's a fashion retailer. They are telling the colors, what are the best colors for your skin? What are the colors for your skin? How you can utilize them? What is the proper fashion for you? Based on the people experience, based on your experience, and your preferences, and so on. That's another company. A third company, Bank of America, they have AI virtual assistant. Here, it's helping the customers how to make a better deal, how to make a better profit, how to invest their money correctly, and so on. Sephora, of course, you know Sephora. There is no, I don't know, but there is no what Sephora. Virtual artist. Virtual artist. It helps them in developing features, how to do things differently for ladies. Okay. Now, example of successful integration. Amazon, of course, recommendation engine. Like about this book, I recommend that you buy the same book. At the same time, she bought that book. So the recommendation, of course, books, toys, whatever you want. Also, Netflix content recommendation. I recommend to watch these movies because these are what you are always searching for. Based on your searching criteria, it will tell you. Now, when I'm talking about artificial intelligence, it's not started in February, but we saw the first free AI in February. This is the first free. Now the market is booming with free tools that you as AI. If you look into TikTok, Twitter, what are you having? You can find so many tools. How to build your website, how to create a customer service, how to create a good content, and so on, market content. Google Smart Bidding. Google, they have bidding engine. Which companies that can use this bidding system? IBM Watson in healthcare. With inshallah, I think about you are seeing the X-ray and how we can IBM that can guess that tissues are cancerous. Cancer. Yes, because imagine if a doctor wants to develop his experience and his vision, he's seeing the same X-rays, 10 of them, but he can't tell him it's normal. But with IBM Watson in healthcare, accurate, and they can find it easier and faster in order to get medication for them. Yes. Also, Uber's dynamic pricing. Uber, when you are taking a taxi at 2 o'clock, it's not like having a taxi at 6 o'clock. This dynamic pricing, it depends on the availability, the traffic jam, so many different factors. And based on that, that come up with the best pricing for you. Maybe you take the same route every day. But one day is a little bit more expensive, one day is a bit less because depending on the jam in the area. Okay, traffic jam. Also, chatbot and customer service, banks, e-commerce, all of them are using it now. And they're using it heavily. I can say that surely in Kuwait, all banks use chatbots in Kuwait. All banks, they use chatbots. Retail companies, Shaya, all of them, they are using chatbots. And this is part of the artificial intelligence. They are guessing what you are talking and they are addressing your answer, they are sending the answer for you correctly. Now, real life on the organization that use KPIs and strategy, financial institutes, they use the natural language processing because it speaks your language. So it's processing your language and making the decision better. Also, e-commerce platforms, different ones, they can suggest for you different types, different clothing. Since you bought baby's clothes, then I recommend for you these toys for baby. So it tells you different areas, but same theme. Same theme. We are not out of the theme. So you're not buying a baby's clothes, then buying ladies' shoes. Yeah. So if you're talking about pregnant lady, so they'll show you everything about pregnant. This is the theme. This is the mid word for it. Also, manufacturing companies, many of them are using KPIs to find the what's the best word, marketing, advertising, and are using it. Most of the content that's created right now is ChatGPT. Most of the content that's created now is ChatGPT created content. Also, supply chain optimization. طبعا. يا ريت تفضل.
هل هذا الحوار في فترة أيام إنه حرام العمود الناس يشتغلوا بالشغل؟
راح تطلب شغل ثاني أحسن. You are not.
هذا اللي خلاص صار في
نعم. Now, how many people fix a manual transmission الجير العادي بالسيارات؟ How many people؟ ما في. Almost في الكويت ما في. Why? Okay, why? Because people shifted to other place, to automatic transmission. So same thing will happen that people will be shifting from this area to another area. So for example, graphic design. We are finding people who are best in Adobe AI, Adobe, there are so many Adobe things. Okay? But with the artificial intelligence, you can do it. Maybe some people are expert in that, they will do it better. So instead of spending one day and night to do therefore one design for you, thank you. One design for you, it will take 1 hour to do so, or less than an hour. It will give you almost 80-90% of what you like of the graphic design. Of course, no matter how good it is, it will yes, of course. Exactly. Yes. Created more jobs. Different jobs. It created more jobs and different that never existed 10 years ago. Or not 2 years ago even. Yes. Yes. Or you have a high school diploma? Nobody cares now.
Nobody. I mean, it's a weird point in your CV. You said that I have the right advice. That's because no one interested in this sector. No one thought that any different countries are asking for driving license. But nowadays, if you look at CV, never says that I speak 2 languages or 3 languages, because this has becomes like a
natural. No.
And it's the same thing. Like another 5-6 years, it's like if you're a doctor, dentist, or medical surgery, if you have to mention that I have an experience in IT. Nowadays, it becomes like an intro. Everyone has to have the knowledge of IT, how to send an email, how to receive an email, and that's what we call it transformation. People change the adopting of technology, adopting the life with a new job or new business here. So that's what I'm saying, that today we're not talking about Chat GPT and we're talking how you utilize those services. In 5-6 years from today, no one will talk about it.
Yes, it will be no.
Because like
something other common sense, exactly. The supply chain optimization now is becoming more adapting to ChatGPT. Of course, I'm going to mention that now. I'll talk about one example that because I'm going to use this example in my next workshop, customer satisfaction index. How people are satisfied with customer satisfaction. Here we can use ChatGPT or BART to do that. Let's do an activity together now, and I'll show you a good example that how we can do that. Now, HR cost per employee KPI in banking industry. Okay, I'm going to use this. Tell me if you can see my window. You cannot? Okay. Can you see it in, you can see this, right? Okay. Now this is ChatGPT, okay? Camera, okay. No. I don't know how to do it. Just help me if you don't mind. Thank you. Here, I'm opening ChatGPT. Okay, so I'm going to use this HR cost per employee KPI in banking industry. Tell me about it. See, it's telling me about things. To calculate HR cost, you need to do the HR expenses, total number of employees. Once you have the HR experience, KPI help organization. It's telling me the story. Now, what is مش باين؟ خلينا نسوي نيو ظهرت؟ Okay. What is HR cost per employee KPI in international bank? International banks. No, don't. Because that's what you're thinking about. Nice. Till now, it's explaining the idea how to do it. Okay, I'll show you next. Now, give me real examples. Now, as you can see, I have no access. Okay, fine. This is the shortcoming of JPI, ChatGPT. That's the only shortcoming. It doesn't have access. Here, Google came to kill them. Let me show you what Google has. Google came with a new guide, called BART. Let's share BART. شغال هي شايفوه؟ اوكي يعني فكرتكم شايفينه اكيد اوكي same question control V in USA banks. It will access their websites, access real data, and give me example. Give me real numbers. Bank of America, 14,000. Wells Fargo, 13,000. Citigroup, 12,000. JP Morgan, 11,000. Bank of New Mellon, 10,000. My bank has spends my bank 15,000 خليها أو 16,000 $. لاحظوا؟ لا ما ضيعتوش، لقطها. بقول لك 16 is slightly higher than average US banking industry. انت اعلى من البنوك الامريكيه. ماشي؟ فاعطاك انه هذا الريشيو ارقامك غلط فيه. وبحكي لك ليش. شات جي بي ما قدر يسوي لك الحركه هذه، مش اكسس على اللايف على الانترنت. انا بدخل على الواقع مسوي هاي. بارد بيعمل الحركه هاي. فصار عندي فكره. طبعا اعطاك العله، قال لك يمكن size of your bank, location of your bank, complexity of your bank HR operation. How recommend to me how to enhance my HR operation. لاحظوا هو عماله ببني الاسئله على قبله. ببني على قبله، يعني مش بدي لك سؤال من اول شيء. I'm sorry. Here is depending on the previous chat that has been done. It's not talking about as if it's new thing to it. So it's continuous. While you are working, it's continuous. And here, invest in employee training, create positive work culture, streamline HR process, measure the track HR performance, provide me with KPIs. So it will give me KPIs how to enhance this. Employee satisfaction, employee turnover rate, productivity. What is the best employees turnover? I didn't complete it. He will complete it now for me. There is no one size fits all answer in this question, as the best employee turnover rate will vary depending on your industry, company size, other factors. I am in Kuwait. So it will be more specific to Kuwait. Competitive salaries and benefits. Provide opportunity for growth and development. Create. Which bank in Kuwait is best in this area? Oh. So National Bank of Kuwait is the largest bank in Kuwait and explains Kuwait finance and so on. And that's the beauty of ChatGPT and Bard. Of course, there are so many, but for myself, I'm using these heavily. I'm using them. I'm using it in my work, everything. So imagine if you have these tools in your hands, how you can change, how you can enhance your productivity, how you can get better. So in your area, in everybody's area, you can use this, I think, your disadvantage. And the faster you are getting into it, the better competitive advantage you'll have for yourself. Thank you very much for your understanding and listening. I'm open for any questions. Most welcome. Any questions? Feel free. Any yes. Yes. I tried that. It didn't work. It told me I'm not. I cannot create slides yet. Yet. Yes. For example.
Yeah. For example. So if we write this question there, what will be the answer? It will give you the analysis of the.
It will give you analysis and how to enhance it. How to enhance it. It will give a recommendation. And if you ask it the best recommendation or what other companies did in the same area, it will give you answers. So it's a simply free coach. Yes. Compare. Yes, you can. You can compare. Yes. Let's have banks, since we are opening banks here. Compare. Thank you. Yes. between Kuwait and KSA. I don't think this is mentioned. It's not populated. Yes, of course. Here it mentioned second Kuwait is higher than the Saudi Arabia. HR cost per employee in the banking sector of Kuwait is higher than Saudi Arabia. In Kuwait, the average TPE is 16,000, while Saudi Arabia is 12,000. There are a number of factors that. Now, here is the table. Kuwait plus USD. So you can see here, it's even I was able to utilize it to write me in table format. Give me in a table format number of employees to make it easy for it. In Kuwaiti and KSA banks. I use it in Chat GPT, it works. I don't know if it works here or not yet. But since it's thinking, it's there it is. Number of employees, 16,500 in Kuwait, 16,500 in Saudi Arabia, 25,000 employees. Even it can tell if you want to which banks. There it is. Al-Rashhi Bank, 10,000. Samba Financial is 7,000. National Commercial Bank of Saudi Arabia, 5,000, 4,000. So maybe Kuwait. National Bank. This is Kuwait. خالد صح ارقامها؟ كيفش؟ 4,000. Maybe it's calculating the outsource. Provide the source. Provide the source. Number of employees in Kuwait, Saudi banks. Data is from table was taken from the Central Bank of Kuwait and Saudi Arabian Monetary Authority. Number of employees in the top 5 banks in Kuwait and Saudi Arabia. Data for the table was taken from website of the respective banks. Yes. Provide me with HR KPIs for a bank. HR. Employee turnover rate, cost per hire. Give me the KPIs. Of course, there are more KPIs, but usually it's recommended not to have more than 5 to 6 KPIs because then it will be confusing to everybody. This is best practice, but you can have more than this, of course. Okay. Most welcome. I hope that I addressed all your questions. If you have any comments, please feel free to comment now. Dr. Abu Karim, إذا عندك أسئلة مداخلة شيء. Anybody has anything to say, feel free, because we are here and we are learning from each other. And some of them I tried the first time. No. No, I'm just joking with you. No, I'll send it to you. Inshallah, I'll give it to Dr. Rabia, and he will send it to you. Also, I'll give you advantage. There is Emirates had, thank you. Emirates had created 100 application for AI. They will give you the exact text, how to use it. So it's in Arabic and English. So I'll send it to Rabia to send it to everybody. In AI. So how to use AI? Give you even the prompt. They call it prompt engineering now. And when we talk about, when we were saying about the new business or new technology and new measures, something called prompt engineering, how to write these prompts, how to come up with the best answer. Now it's a new science, and people are becoming in this science and so on. So this is a new way that if I can be to improve myself and to be better in that area. Okay, guys? Okay. So I'll send the Arabic and English version of the Emirates. Thank you very much. صوت جماعي ولا بخطط العددي؟ ماشي. خلاص